Hello everyone and welcome back to the garage. Been a minute since I've been out here and put out a video, but jumping back in again. I've been spending a lot of time with my little guy while I've been off from work, so just been sneaking out here every once in a while where I can, in between helping out the wife with taking care of him. But anyway, kind of go over where I left off and what I've been up to. We got the cab sprayed down with primer. Same for the hood. I'd sprayed the top side, and then it was like 3 days later, something like that, 3-4 days later, whatever it was. I'd have to go back and watch the videos to see. It's been about a month, but I flipped it over and I painted or primed the underside with the epoxy primer. And something interesting is I had seen, it says, cure time is a couple of weeks actually, and that's true. When I'd flipped the hood over and to prime the bottom side, I had just basically that point and that point there resting on the foam pads of the fender stand, and the epoxy primer reacted with the foam on there. So when I flipped it over after sitting there for basically a month, there was the foam kind of stuck to it and melded. I was like, huh, because it looks like it's dry, but it takes a while for all that cross-linking and curing to actually take place with this stuff. So not the worst thing in the world. I knocked it down with a little sandpaper. That's down to a little bare metal there and there, but there's from what I showed in the last video, there's hail dents and stuff in this thing, so it's going to need body work anyway. So I was going to be sanding on it in the first place, so not a horrible thing, but something to be aware of. If you're using a fender stand or something like that, and you set something on there with an epoxy primer or even the paint, make sure that it either doesn't sit there very long or is past the cure window at the temperature that it needs to be at to do the curing. So I'd kept it warm enough out here because I'd set my little oil heater there underneath it to keep the hood warm, but I ran into that reaction. Just wanted to point that out and show everyone. Just something that I thought might happen, but I thought I was outside the window enough, but no, it still did. So just something to be aware of. But what I'm working on now is wanting to get the inside of the cab painted. So I've got the back wall, the roof, and the dash knocked down with some either red Scotch-Brite or 400 grit sandpaper, kind of depending on the areas. Like I was using some of the 400 grit over on the other side, and just started to barely come through the primer a little bit on a curved edge. So I decided to stick to just flat surfaces like this area, and then ignore like the edges with that, and just come back with the Scotch-Brite to knock those down. But give it some tooth to bite on, because I knew it was going to be outside of the open window for the epoxy for recoating without abrading the surface. So, but yeah, anyway, coming in here and getting the wires zip tied up out of the way so I can tape this this thing off. Kind of making note of where certain things are. I'm also using this video for myself for that. So these are little plastic, like oval clip inserts that go into the metal portion of the dash here, where your dash pad goes over it, and you actually put the screws into these. So instead of having to hit a single little point, it gives a larger target area for the screws to go in. And even then, on this one, they kind of missed it and screwed into the into the metal of the dash itself. So I'm going to grab my little wheel and knock that thing back off. I've got brand new inserts that came with the new dash pad that I've got, so I just left these in here for kind of a reference. But I'm going to pop these out, just using the video to take note of where they are. And the same thing with these little flat clips. I'm going to pull all these out as well, but I wanted to get the locations here on video so I can go back and put them back after I'm done. I'm going to pull these things off, tie this up out of the way, and then back tape everything and try and tape it off real good. I think I'll do what I did when I was priming and just cover the steering column with a trash bag. Not quite sure if I want to try and pull the the brake release handle off and pull all that out, or just tape off around it. And I'm kind of leaning towards just tape off around it, because I think I can get around there well enough, maybe with a detail gun. Got the hood releases already detached, so maybe tie this stuff out of the way. But anyway, yeah, I got a clip here for the bottom left of the dash bezel, here and here and here and here for the lower fill piece, and there's a little upper piece there that's part of the instrument bezel, and then clip here, and then one on the top over there. I'm actually not going to be painting everything up this high, because the only painted portions that you see of these dashes on the square bodies are below the upper dash pad. So I'm just going to like tape off above this level and mask off above it, and then literally just paint this lower section here. So it won't be actually that much. I just want to protect everything from overspray and whatnot. Same thing for like the brake pedal here. It won't be so important for this gas pedal, and that'll be something I'll show you guys a little later. Got a little surprise coming up, changing the path a little bit, but that'll be another video coming up soon. And anyway, I'm gonna get this thing masked off, and we'll get back to the video after that. Well, I've got everything taped off. I was using the trash bag on the steering wheel. That seemed to work pretty well. Just got a few wraparounds with some tape there. I've got a few holes, some overspray probably get in there a little bit, maybe, but I'm not that worried about it. Like I said, this isn't a show vehicle. I just want my driver truck to look good. But got everything wiped down, got it all taped off. Pretty happy with how it's gone. Like I said, I was only focusing on the lower part of the dash that you'll actually see below the dash pad there. So I'm not gonna paint the floor or like the toe board areas up here, just the side kick panels, A-pillar, roof, back wall, and then eventually most of that stuff is going to be covered up by plastic panels and stuff. I've got the little side panel here, one's for the A-pillar, there's a panel across the front to like hold the headliner and such. So this will be exposed, and this will some. I'm going to paint this lower section and then probably cover it in sound deadening matte anyway, so I wouldn't have to paint the whole thing. But this is going to be easier. Instead of masking everything off, I'm just going to paint the whole surface and then come back later and just lay on the sound deadener. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to run inside, go grab the paint, grab my safety gear, get everything mixed up, and probably set the camera up and shoot some paint on this thing. Well, I got the paint in. I think that's a nice vibrant blue. Let me turn the light on here. Don't have any odd dry spots. Don't see any drips anywhere. Get good coverage. Pretty happy with how all this has turned out. I think, like I said, a lot of the spots, other than like the lower part of the dash there and the like this part of the rear bulkhead there just below the window, everything else will be covered up eventually, but until I get around to like putting headliner in and stuff, at least it'll look pretty nice before that. And yeah, gave me practice on doing paint, because I did that primer, but this is actually my first go round with paint, like single stage or base clear, either one. I haven't really messed with that. Always, you know, messed around with rattle cans, but for my first go round, I'd say I'm pretty happy with it. Not too bad. Walk around to the other side and show you over here. Feel I got pretty good coverage around. Pretty happy with that. And I did tape off the wire harness there. I went ahead and painted the grommet, whatever. But yeah, so I think that'll do it for this episode. Stay tuned, I got a surprise coming up for the next one. I think it'll be a neat direction that I'm going here with this new thing I got coming up. So anyway, thanks for watching and stay tuned. I'll catch you guys later.